B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh V'Natzliach, Shiur Torah. We are back in our Sunny Isle Shiur on Emunah V'Bitachon. It's the Jewish Hashkafa based on the Chazon Ish's Emunah V'Bitachon. We are at number 11. Today's Shiur will be for Ilui Nishmat Machluf Ben Rivka. להבדיל רפואה שלמה אורית בת אילנה, יתרו בן אברהם, טליה בת שרה, הרבנית לבנה בת שרה, סרח בת בתיה, בתיה בת שרה, דבורה בת מרסדס, אסתר בת ציפורה, דוד בן אסריה, דוריס בת ג'ורה, and all of Am Yisrael Be'ezrat Hashem, and for הצלחה רבה for Shaul ben Farzane, and also for a Atzlacha Rabba for Zera Sheikama, for an anonymous couple that B'ezrat Hashem wanted to invest into HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Torah in order to B'ezrat Hashem have bracha and have a baby girl B'ezrat Hashem. And as I was saying, the smart people know how to invest into things that they know are guaranteed to win. Now, I was in the investment business for almost 20 years. I know a thing or two about investments. And I advised a lot of people to invest into stocks and bonds. Once in a blue moon, other things, but very rarely. Stocks, you are investing into the potential of the company. In essence, you are buying into the future of the company, based on your assessment of what their future is going to look like. Which, by the way, as a side note, explains, for anyone that's wondering, why the stock market is going up, or at least it's not crashing, while the economy is crashing. They fired 40 million people. Unemployment is approaching almost 20%. You would think that the economy collapsing should mean that the market should collapse along with it, but the market is not necessarily always the right indicator. Part of the reason is because in the real investment world, they're not going to tell you this on the news, but in the real investment world, they don't really care about you people. In the investment world, they care about profits. And when you lay off 40 million people, but you found a way to do the same exact job without paying them, meaning you can do all the work without the employees now. You could hire people from India for $5 an hour instead of paying somebody over here $50 an hour. Why? Because you have all these technologies. So they realize that they just got an excuse to fire 40 million people and they don't have to hire them back. What does that mean? The investors say, Ishtabach Shemo, we're going to make more profits this year. That's what they think. So that's why anyone that's asking why the market's up and the economy is down, that's the reason. Now, in the bond world, you invest based on whether someone can pay back the money, because in essence what a bond is a debt obligation. You're buying somebody's debt. And in essence you're buying based on what is the stability of the company or the entity, municipality, and so on. But no matter how good an investor is, at times you're going to make mistakes. At times you're going to be wrong, even if you didn't make a mistake. You looked at all the facts. The facts are what they may, and it didn't work out your way. We one time invested into one company because we believed the market made a mistake, because the stock was valued at $4, and we thought it was worth at least 20, maybe 30. Company called Nextel. It was the first big win that I had in my career. Now, it used to be 50 or 60 before I got to know it, but then it went down, it dropped because people thought that the company was worthless. And we saw that the company has a lot of assets, more assets than they have in stock price. Long story short, we were right, the market was wrong. The stock eventually went up over the next, year and a half or two, back up to over $20 a share. So we were right. And the investors that trusted us made a lot of money. On another hand, we had a company that we were short, meaning we bet against it. A company called Mercado Libre. which had a lot of investments in Venezuela. And we understood that the Venezuelan market, because of the currency situation, was because of the dictator that's running the country and ruining it, that the currency was eventually going to go worthless, and that the value of that asset will become worthless. So in essence, the company would absorb a big loss and the stock should go down accordingly. If a company loses money, stock should go down, right? Well, we were right. Venezuela went down the toilet. The currency went down 99.9%. $10 million that you had is maybe worth $4. But what happened to the stock? Went back up. It went up drastically. So we were right, but we were wrong. And this happens in life, in the business world. You hire somebody because he has a good resume. But when push comes to shove, babkis. This happens, Baruch Hashem, I have a very big tikkun. My whole life, ever since I had employees, I've always had problems with employees. All types of unique problems. And it's like a tikkun of mine. Maybe I was like Paro's son or something in the previous Gilgul or something. Had slaves maybe, I don't know, it's like tikkun. Always have, these employees. If I'm asking you, what's the best employee you ever had? I said, the ones that volunteer. The ones that work for free. Not because of the price. Not because of the price. I don't mind paying. That's because of the price. So because the ones that do it for free, they do because they love it. The ones you pay, kosi. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. You're always going to see that in life. Someone that's like an intern for your company, more passionate than the guy that's making $250,000 a year. Why? The intern is still like excited. The other guy can't finish work, so you go home and spend his $20,000 a month. That's the reality of life. But that's commerce for you. That's your shiur about commerce for a second. But I'm talking about investments. How is this kashur? There's also a spiritual investment, which we talked a little bit about in the past and last week. People invest into HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When you invest into HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're guaranteed to win. Guaranteed. There's no such thing as investing into HaKadosh Baruch Hu and losing. Now, it doesn't necessarily work like a stock portfolio or like some type of projections where you invest and within a certain amount of time you get it. It doesn't work that way. You could literally get paid 5 seconds later. You can get paid 30 years later. But for sure you're going to get paid. And people that invest into HaKadosh Baruch Hu show that they have, even if they don't have it, but they show that they have the ultimate bitachon in Hashem. Because it's hard to have 100% bitachon in Hashem. But when you invest into HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you invest into doing kiruv, you invest into publicizing Torah, you are showing you have bitachon in Hashem, that Hashem rewards the righteous and punishes the wicked. 13 principles of faith. And you cannot go wrong investing in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So when people sponsor lectures, buy CDs to distribute in their community, donate money, they show that they trust HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But then there's some special people I have to tell you about. These people, they're special. Why are they special? When you have, sometimes once in a while, somebody wants to buy tefillin. They tell me you want to buy tefillin. So once in a while we sell tefillin. It's not exactly such a big business. But once in a while somebody has tefillin. So I have a few, so I sell it to them. Try to get them a good pair of tefillin that's kosher, that I know who's the sofer. And it's not some reform person or some dog wrote it or a machine. I know you have to make sure that you buy tefillin from a kosher source. One person told me, yeah, I bought it on eBay. I said, okay, get it checked. How much you buy on eBay? He said, $90. I said, for sure it's fake. Because you didn't even see it yet. I said, it doesn't make a difference. I don't have to see it. It's fake for sure. He got it checked. They looked inside. It's empty. Nothing. There's nothing inside. Nothing inside. Another guy had a scroll made out of a printer paper. Also pasul. One woman had a mezuzot she bought from some store for a discount. Because she didn't want to pay $100, $200 for mezuzah. She wanted to give her a discount, $30. She opened it. What did she got? A cross inside. A cross. Penny wise, dollar foolish, we call it. You saved a few dollars, but you brought klala to your house. Imagine a guy putting on tefillin with Cracker Jacks on his head every day. Why? He wanted to save a few $100. So he's got a fortune cookie on his head instead of tefillin. 10, 20 years of missing out tefillin. Shem Yishmo. Can't make that up. Unless you buy somebody else tefillin, and they start putting on tefillin, but not so pashut. Anyway, so once in a while, we sell tefillin. And one time I had this young student, and he tells me, what tefillin you have? I say, I have this such and such tefillin. He goes, what else you have? I say, it's not good enough. $600 not good enough. He goes, no, is there something better? What do you have? I said, no, my tefillins are expensive. You don't have to give it expensive. You got $600 enough. It's good. It's kosher. He goes, no, but what's the best one? So you don't need to be, you're barely making minimum wage. What do you need the best one for? He goes, can I pay in payments? I say, you serious? How much you want to spend? He goes, what's the best one you have? I said, no, it's almost $2,000. I can give $5,000 if you want, but I mean, what I actually have is one. It's like, I think, like $1,600, $1,800. See, I want that one. I want that one. I said, why? This is $600 is fine. He goes, no, I want the best one. I want like you. What a tzaddik. And he made payments, and he paid, Baruch Hashem. Now, don't ask me for payments. This, I know a local student, I see him every day. So don't ask me for payments. We're not eBay. But anyway, that wasn't exactly a good example, eBay. But anyway, you get the point. We're not a mortgage company. But, so what does that mean? A person wants to have extra appreciation for mitzvah, so he does extra. He wants to go all the way. He doesn't want to get the minimum. You know, when you ask for a bracha from Hashem, you don't want him to give you the minimum. You don't want to, give me a little bit of air, Hashem. Just enough for me to live. No, you want shefa, you want as much air as possible, you want as much blood as possible, much parnasah as possible, as much parnasah, everything is possible, right? So when you show Hashem you love His mitzvot, you do the same thing. So I got this one guy, and he sends me his maaser every week. And he sends it, it's an envelope, and he has a greeting card. And he sends me his maaser. It's something like usually around $35 to $40. So you see, he's not a very rich person, but he knows that $35 to $40 goes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But that's not the mitzvah. A lot of people send $5, $20, $50 and more. I'm not mentioning it because of that. Why am I mentioning this tzaddik? Because he sends it in a greeting card, and he writes me a little card. This is my maaser. I made $359 this week. This is for Abba. This is for Hashem. The greeting card's at least $2. Now I would think initially, I thought, I'm like, why is he spending $2 on a greeting card? Should just make it instead of $35, $37. Invest. Wrong. Why? It shows how much you love the mitzvah. To go out of your way, to go to the store, go pick a card that's fit for this week, and then go spend some time writing a note on the card. Then put on a special envelope just to put the maaser to say, I love you, Abba. That's a person, I guarantee you, this person is going to be very successful in their life. Very successful. Not only in money, in the Avodat Hashem. Why? Sure, you appreciate the mitzvah, you love the mitzvah. When a person loves the mitzvah, Kadosh Baruch Hu says, you love my mitzvah? Schar mitzvah, mitzvah. The reward for mitzvah is another mitzvah. You like giving tzedakah in such a fancy way, I'm going to give you even more money to make it even a bigger fancy way. And that's when you show somebody loves a mitzvah. So some people are smart and they make investments, and some people are not only smart, but they love Hashem too. So they make the investments, but they beautify them. If you guys remember, we had the movie event here, I guess maybe 6-8 months ago, and the girls made cookies with Be'ezrat Hashem logo, and all the kishutim everywhere. Alash, look better than a movie theater. Not that I go to any of them, but it's been years ago. All the things in the popcorn bags and everything else. Now, there was some remaining stuff, so we had some extra popcorn bags left. And you know, the movie, now Baruch Hashem has already hit over 1 million people. 1 million people have watched this movie already, between the different channels. We gave out over 100,000 CDs in the last few weeks since Lag BaOmer. On YouTube, almost 500,000 views. On Facebook, close to like 700,000 or more. All the different channels, Tabach Shemo, it's affecting people every day. Just a few days ago, a woman that runs one of the biggest kiruv organizations in France told me she saw the movie, she fell in love, and she highlighted it on her website that gets 500,000 visitors a month. And she's now publicizing it everywhere. Anyone speaks French is getting this movie. Everyone doesn't speak French, also getting the movie. She's sharing it night and day. Shtabach Shimo. Now that movie, now we came out with the not only the CD, but we also have the USBs. The USBs have 2 USBs, and one of them is the movie. It's a tiny little cool USB. People are trying to ask me, like, when they get it, a few people got it in the mail, like, what is this? What do I do with it? So let me just once and for all show you guys what this is. It's a very cool thing. It's a little box. Really? A little box. You take where you see the little hole, you flip it, this is the USB. This has a something like a 30-something movies, 30 or 40, 34 movies, including the Hashem Took Back His Millions, in 7 languages. In 7 languages, and other movies that we have, plus a bunch of lectures about Tikkun HaBrit. Then we just came out with the Musar series. 179 lectures. This is the same thing, just a bigger card. Same thing, folds in the end, fold it, this is the USB, you stick it into your machine. It's a cool little thing. You have 179 shiurim of the Musar series, plus the movies. Also, the Hashem Took Back His Millions and so on. Now, there are some cards like this that they made an error on, where it actually has the Tikkun HaBrit on it, instead of the thing. It's not really an error, it's just that Hashem knows that there's more Tikkun HaBrit needed, so we had to order it twice. So anyway, that's the cards. So the point is that these movies, these USBs, they're reaching more and more people. And imagine a person watches it, gives it to somebody else, sponsors it. A person does tshuva. What kind of reward they're going to have for such a small investment? But HaKadosh Baruch Hu is trying to make every single person have an opportunity to invest into the right things. And each person is going to have their choices, going to have the opportunity to do good. Good with their time, good with their money, and so on. This too, Rabotai, is part of the Jewish Hashkafa, because everyone here works hard, or at least they tell me they do. And you work hard, and if you don't work hard, you're going to work hard in life, because that's part of life. And you have to know what to do with your money. You have to know what to do with your time. And if a person invests into things that are physical, then okay, you can have a limited amount of reward. It's going to go up in price, it's going to go down in price, but like we talked about last week, maximum you're going to get a lifetime full of benefit out of this investment. Whereas when you invest into HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you have much, much longer. Now, these USBs, we made it this way instead of the traditional way, because again, we wanted to honor the Torah and make it more beautiful, make it more cooler, make it thing. Same thing you got to do with your own investments, your own time. You want to make sure that these things are beautified. Now, how is this all connected to the movie that I mentioned with the whole thing with the thing? Because there was some bags left. There were some bags left that were the popcorn bags. So what do? When you you order one of these, what do you get it in? You get the UPS. You get the UPS. You get whatever you got, and you get this inside a popcorn bag. I'll give you an indication. Get some popcorn. You got a bunch of movies to watch. But that's again another cute little thing to beautify the mitzvah. Anyway, Rabotai, today is not going to be a boring shiur. It's going to have some interesting things that we learned from the Chazon Ish, Pshat, and we're also going to have some current events. Now, I know people like current events. I hate current events. Why? Current events are never good. You don't publicize, oh, Joe Smith won the lotto. No one cares. What do you publicize? There's another Goldberg in the world. Hashem Yishmor. And unfortunately, we found out too late. We found out too late. You already had the event where the pastor spoke to a congregation of Jewish people in Manhattan today. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how it's not a coincidence that he did it. But it's important to say what we're going to say, even though it's not going to change the event. The event already happened. It started at 7:30. We only found out a couple of hours before it. We need at least a few days to a week to cause enough havoc. Not enough time. But we're going to say it for the sake of clarifying for the rest of Am Yisrael, either the ones that attended that event, or the ones that heard about it, or the ones that will hear about other events like it from other places, how Am Yisrael is supposed to treat Christians when it comes to learning. How is Am Yisrael supposed to communicate with Christians and other idol worshippers when it comes to their teachings and their hostings, especially with all of the anti-Semitism that's going on in the world? When people do not have the right ashkafa, they start thinking that in order to make peace and limit the amount of anti-Semitism in the world, we need to join forces with the idol worshippers, with the Christians. Now make no mistake about it, every single time Christians are mentioned, I'll usually mention idol worshippers, but if I forget, don't forget, the idol worshippers. Anyone that tells you otherwise is simply wrong. I know Christianity inside and out. I know enough Christians, Baruch Hashem, I've gotten enough of them to leave Christianity, and they tell me a lot more than I know every time. And there's no doubt about it that it is 100% idolatry. And anyone that promotes them, anyone that hosts them, anyone that joined forces with them is considered a machtia rabim, someone that causes the public to sin, which the Rambam says, this person just put themselves in a certain class of people that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to close the gate of tshuva on them. Meaning, he's not going to help them do tshuva. They can do tshuva, but it's almost impossible. Why? Because you don't know the amount of damage that you caused. If one person went to that event tonight, and then the pastor decides to stay in touch with him, because that's really his real mission. As he says on his website, that's his real mission. One person leaves Judaism, goes to Christianity. It doesn't matter how many people you get to do tshuva. You still have lost a Jew. And the Torah tells us you lose one Jew, it's like you destroyed the entire world. Now how could it be that an Orthodox rabbi, modern Orthodox, needless to say, how could it be that a modern Orthodox rabbi thinks that it's okay to bring a pastor to a synagogue to give an event? How could it be? We heard about this from the Goldberg and Company event 4 years ago. 3 years ago, something like that. How could it be that this is repeated? Oh, I'll show you how. B'siyat Dishmaya, we found the connection. It all has to do with the shiur. Always. Always has to do with the shiur. So, in a Chazon Ish, Emunah V'Bitachon, in the first chapter, section number 5, he begins by saying, in addition, after he told us about the different body parts, he told us about the arms, the legs, life itself, speaking, hearing. Now he goes into a very interesting subject that's very rarely spoken about, but when it is, usually it's not covered the right way. Talks about the issue of intimacy. And he says the following: in addition, we can see an amazingly intricate and detailed plan, which bears witness to the talent of its creator. He already tells you that this creation was not made just, let's wing it. Throw some paint on the wall, see what happens, call it a Picasso. You know, sometimes somebody shows up to work. You say, no, so what'd you get done today? Well, I put some notebooks together, and I fixed the garbage pail, and the bathroom's clean now, and also the register is over there, everything's good. Yeah, but you're the salesman. What are you doing? You're not the janitor. If you were the janitor, this would be good work. But you're the salesman. Oh, yeah. No, I didn't know what to sell today. You didn't get prepared. You're not prepared, you don't know what to do, you do the wrong job. So when HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world, He taught us one thing. If you're going to do something, do it right. Put everything into it. Don't do any type of half-ass work. Don't do any type of work that's really incorrect. And don't worry, the Oxford Dictionary agrees with the word half-ass. Only in the different parts of the country it's a curse. My friend that lived in the south told me, half-ass. No. But there are some that agree that it's not. No. Today, these days, Tabach Shemo, everybody, it's not a curse. Don't worry. Not a curse. Anyway, the Borei Barach told us, Rabotai Yekarim, that if you're going to do something, do it right. Why? Because whatever it is that you're going to do, that's your creation. If you're going to pray, that prayer, it's not just there. It's a stamp inside the creation that will never leave. And one day you will get to see it. See, that's your prayer on the 6th of Tevet, 5780. Now, if that prayer, while you were praying, you were thinking about some girl, or you were thinking about some guy, or you were thinking about some dress, or you were thinking about some shoes, that's your stamp in creation. Now, you went to learn. Came to the shul. Sitting in the shul, Shtabach Shemo. 5 seconds later, sleeping. That is your stamp in creation. Shamayim say, here you go, hey. On such and such date, at such and such time, you went to the shul. Let's see you in the shul. And you have to watch yourself throughout the entire shul sleeping. What an embarrassment it is with the Bet Din of Shamayim. Because Baruch Hu is next to you. He's like, Rabbi is teaching Divrei Elokim Chaim. He's teaching the words of the living God. Look at you. What do you have to say about yourself? Look, you're still sleeping. An hour has passed, you're still sleeping. He's screaming, you're still sleeping. At home, you were complaining to your wife that the little sound that she made with the baby when the baby woke up, you can't sleep. But the rabbi is screaming and you're still sleeping. How come? That's a stamp in creation. A person needs to know everything they do is a stamp in creation. Everything. You do a job. That's your stamp in creation. It's permanent. It doesn't go away. Everything's going to be shown to you. Do it right. When you see the creation of the Creator, may His name be blessed, you see the ultimate talent, the ultimate wisdom, the ultimate beauty, the best of the best. You see that if you ever spend time, look at the heavens, look at the sky, how it changes colors throughout the day, and how the blue is something you cannot copy. The best painting in the world, the best computer program in the world can never copy that blue, that beauty. Doesn't matter how good it is, it's never that beautiful. Then you see the shapes of the clouds and how they change and they move, and they're so enormous and they look like they're close, but really they're really far. And just everything is so beautiful. And you see the Creator created such a beautiful creation. Then you look at your own body, how everything works. Or perhaps you recognize that it used to work because it's not working, or it's working too much, or it's underworking, whatever it is, but you recognize the beauty of the creation, and therefore recognize the beauty of the Creator. So the Chazon Ish says, the amazing and intricate, detailed plan bears witness to the talent of the Creator, and man lacks the power to study it properly and give it its due praise. In so many words, the Chazon Ish says, man will never, ever be able to discover the secret to life. You may be able to study different aspects of it, identify how many species live in a certain ocean, or at least estimate how many people live in a certain country, and what is their reproduction rate, estimate what diseases certain types of people are prone to, estimate all types of things. But the true secret to life, human beings simply do not possess the intellect to uncover it. Now, science can figure out how the seed works. We tell them, so where do babies come from? And I can tell you, well, it comes from when a male and a female, they are together, and the seed and the egg combine, and from there comes the baby. Now, they can tell you, I ask them, how come? Well, because the seed has this role, and the egg has this role, and that's what happens. So they can tell you, in essence, how it works. But they can't tell you why. Why does it work? Why does the seed work this time, but not last time? Why does the seed in the egg work this time, but not next time? How come? They can't give you that explanation. Why? It's parts of the secrets of life. We'll go further into that in a moment. He says this is the plan of the union of male and female in order to ensure the eternity of the world, including the wonders of the tools of each and the creation of the will that is essential to ensure this union. So accustomed are people to it that they fail to sense the greatness of its creator, who planned all of these mechanisms and established them in the world so that they will endure forever. Now, you'll be surprised to hear that in the Gemara, Masechet Shabbat, I believe it's page 152, Chachamim says, what is a woman? Just a sack that holds fecal matter and a mouth of blood, and everyone runs after her. So the feminists are like, this chauvinism, here. Relax, take it easy. So we have to read commentary. What are the Chachamim anti-women? No. What are they really trying to tell people? What are we trying to learn from it? Sonny's going to tell you this shiur in maybe a few weeks or so. When he gets to 152, he's going to tell you this shiur. I'm going to give you a preview of what Sonny's going to say. Over there, Chachamim are telling you, same thing about men, by the way. Same thing about men. What are they telling you? A human being is a sack of fecal matter and a mouthful of blood, and everyone chases after women, not after men. Nobody chases after men. Except if they're figalo. Why? It says, in reality, all of the things that we desire are not amaus. They're not really nice things. Like if somebody has an obsession with food, and you see him stumping his face, or you see her stumping her face, you got, chocolate on their face, or meat dripping, it's gross. It's not a nice thing. It's never a wonderful thing to see people eat. Never, personally, I don't like it. I don't know why. Sometimes on on these shows or whatever, they show people eating. I don't know why people think this is a nice thing to see. It's not nice to see. It's not nice to see people eating. In reality, it's not a nice thing. Well, eat going in the corner. It's not. Gemara actually talks about it. That if somebody, they believe it's Masechet Brachot. If somebody died, and he has to watch the body, and until they take him to the cemetery, but he gets hungry. What does he do? Says, let him make a separation between him and the body and eat. And if he doesn't have a separation, have him turn around. So I asked, how come it doesn't just say, go outside? Go outside and eat. What's the chidush? Gemara is telling you it's better that you eat next to a dead body than go outside and eat standing up or outside where people can see you. Why? It's gross. It's much more gross over there. That's why many times Chachamim don't eat next to people. I know Rav Zev from New York, Talmid Chacham Atzum, knows the entire Shas by heart. You're never going to see him eat. Ever. Never going to see him eat. I think he's still living on man, which is very possible. But you're never going to see him eat. Why? In his own shul he doesn't eat. He has an event. In his own shul he doesn't eat. Unbelievable. What? Most. All the desires that we really have, they're not really pretty desires. Not pretty desires. And the one that's the ugliest is actually the intimacy between a man and a woman, when you really think about it. So how come we're attracted to each other? Or you guys are attracted to your wives and stuff? I'm not attracted to you. Well, how come? That's what the Gemara is trying to teach you. Naturally, we are supposed to, in essence, be repelled by each other. Gross. Why would I want to be with this woman? Why would I want to be with this man? What is he? He's just a sack of potatoes. What is he? Where is this guy? Why do I want to be with him? Complains all day, pain here, pain there, bathroom. Well, it's everything that comes in goes out, stinky. What's going on? Smells good in, stinky out. What do I need this guy? It's gross. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a miracle in creation. He says, because I need you to populate the world and bring more neshamot kedoshot into the world, I'm going to make something that's technically ugly your desire. That if it wasn't for that desire, you would simply repel each other. There would not be a single person populating the world. Nobody. No. Why? You'd be disgusted by each other. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, when you really think about this desire, it's gross. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a miracle in creation and says, that is the secret. It's a desire I instilled in you. But it has to be used effectively. If you use this desire effectively, it's holy. But if you misuse it, it goes back to being gross. It goes back to being disgusting. So now, the Chachamim discuss this act in many different ways. The Ravad, in the Sefer Baalei HaNefesh, says that there are 3 different parts of the mitzvah of ona'ah, of the mating between a husband and a wife. 3 different parts. In essence, 3 different purposes. 1, the ultimate purpose, pu'ubu, have children. The goal is to be together with your wife, your husband, to bring more children to the world. Now, this is the ultimate purpose, and a person needs to know that this is a very big mitzvah, not only to bring a baby to the world, but even more importantly, to make sure that they raise this baby with Torah and mitzvot. But the key is to know that you want to bring this baby in a healthy way, in a holy way. And anyone that wants to know some more of the details, watch our shiur called Kosher Intimacy. And it goes into the halachot of this specific thing. It should be watched only by couples, not by single men. Surely every single man in the world that's watching this is going to go watch it now, but I still have to give you the disclosure. So first mitzvah, first stage of this, mitzvat ona'ah, which is what they call intimacy in Sfat HaKodesh, is the pu'ubu. But there is a second purpose. What's the purpose? Ona'ah. Actually giving the pleasure to the wife. It's a mitzvah from the Torah. It's what you're actually signing off on in your ketubah. when a man purchases his wife in his marriage, that's what it is, that's what the ketubah is. Ketubah is that it's a contract that you're buying the wife. This is the reason why what's hers is yours. So, halachically speaking, you should not have separate bank accounts, separate assets, unless this is already a second marriage, or something like that. But in general, it's not lo raui, it's not normal to have, what people have become accustomed to, where, the wife has her own money, the husband has his own money, the wife has her own vacation house, the husband has his own vacation house, the wife has her lawyer, and then the husband has his lawyer. Eventually they both meet on the divorce court. That's not a good way. Supposed to be together. So much so that if the wife wants to give tzedakah, she has to get permission from the husband. Even if she's the one that's working, making the money. Why? Because he purchased her. He purchased her. But he has to fulfill his obligation. What's his obligation? His obligation is to keep her dressed where she has her clothes, whatever clothes she wants, within reason, obviously, not that she's some type of mall addict. As long as it's within reason, is to make sure that she has nice dresses, nice shoes, nice mitpachat, all the things that she need to look appropriate. She has to have a roof over her shoulders. He has to provide for her. Unless she agrees to be the one that works and he's studying Torah, he has to go work and he has to make sure that she has a nice house. She has a nice place to live. The best that he could afford. He's not allowed to be cheap when it comes to buying her presents, when it comes to getting her house. This is a sin. It's a sin to be cheap with your wife. And you see, everybody that's cheap with their wife has no bracha. They end up saving, and end up spending it all on medical bills, or lawyers, or taxes, or something that they don't want to spend it on. And last but not least, aside from the roof and the clothes, he has to fulfill her needs whenever she wants. She doesn't have to fulfill his needs, but he has to fulfill her needs whenever she wants. Meaning, if the wife tells him at 2 o'clock in the morning, honey, I want to be together, he has to do it. Let's do it. Now, this may sound strange to some men, because usually they're the ones that are chasing their wife, but in reality it shouldn't be that way. If a man is a shomer abrit and shomer enaim, his neshama is going to be holy, his wife is going to chase him. But most importantly, to know that this is a mitzvah, and it's a mitzvah to make the wife happy. So in essence, when that happens, it has a purpose. Which means that even if the wife cannot bear any children, a person does not have to worry about wasting seed. Why? Because in reality, you would think, wait, wasting seed, if I can't have baby because she's already pregnant, you can't get pregnant twice. If you're already pregnant, you can't get double pregnant. I wish you could, just get the whole thing over, 18 kids, one shot, finished, it's her body anyway. No, just kidding guys. No, it's one pregnancy at a time, one miracle at a time. But she can't get pregnant twice. On top of that, sometimes at a certain time of the month, she can't get pregnant. Another time, at a certain part of her life, after a certain time, Kadosh Baruch Hu decides, close the gates. People are scared. Oh, I'm almost 40 years old. I can't. Who said? No, they said on TV, 40 years old, you can't have kids. Yeah, that study was done in the 1600s, 400 years ago. All women that start going crazy and just marry any Joe on the street just because they're approaching 40 years old or 41 years old because they think that their clock is running. No, your clock is decided by Kadosh Baruch Hu. It may have stopped already at 30. It may stop at 60. Stops whenever Kadosh Baruch Hu decides to stop. But if you're deciding your marriage is based on some Goyish study that was done 400 years ago, at least read up about it. So, a woman doesn't have to worry about things like that. She has to worry about Avodat Hashem. How she is with Hashem. Why would Hashem want to reproduce her? And if she's already at a time, she already had the kids, Bezat Hashem, and now the time has passed, Hashem has decided that's it. What about intimacy? Still a mitzvah to do it with the husband. Why? Because like I said, it's not only about Pru'ubu. Although Pru'ubu, bringing kids to the world, is the ultimate level, It's not the ultimate, it's not the only purpose. The second purpose is also mitzvat onah. The Ravad says the third purpose is the lowest and the least among them. Is to keep the man away from sin, to keep the wife away from sin, keep each other from sin. Keep away from sin, either with other people, by themselves, whatever. But this is the lowest level. Anything less than that, and you're simply an animal. She put you in a zoo, right next to the lion, the zebra, you'll make good friends. Unfortunately, Rabotai, although it's a little funny, these three stages are not relevant to the vast majority of the world today. Bringing kids to the world, many times people tell their kids, you know, you were in an accident, we weren't expecting you. We weren't expecting you. Many times they have kids, they weren't expecting kids. And sometimes they regret it. And sometimes they commit murder by having abortions. Oh no, it's not a real baby. It's not out. Why is it not a real baby? Well, you can't see it. Well, it's because you can't see it doesn't exist. So, you know what? Put your finger inside that electric socket. No, there's electricity in it. You can't see it. Just put it in. Can't see electricity. You commit murder. You're a murderer. No, what do you mean? Why do you have to say it that way? Because it's murder. You have an abortion, and it's not for the sake of saving your life because you're in life danger, literal life danger, not theoretical life danger. Not, oh, I am not ready because I don't have money type of danger. Literally, you're going to die. Doctors say you're going to die if you have this baby, or even there's a chance you're going to die from this birth. There's no danger. You just don't feel like having a baby, or you think you can't afford it as if you could afford anything anyway, as if Hashem is not the one giving you the money anyway. And you have an abortion. It's 100% a murder. The only leniency that you're ever going to hear about is during the first 40 days. And even that is on very, very unique cases, and it has to be given from a very serious Rav that's beki, that's an expert in this issue and also knows you well. But that's, again, an exception, but it's not common. After 40 days, there's no exception. You go to the doctor tells you, listen, Shem Yishmo, it looks like on this diagram that your kid looks like a dragon. Here's a tail, like the Darwin books. You want to have an abortion? What's the answer? No. Not allowed. Doctor told us one time, you know, listen, your baby's head, it looks like it's too big. You want to have an abortion? I said, let's chop off your head first. We'll see how that works out for you. We'll ask your mother what she thinks. And then we'll ask my baby if he wants to do. No abortions. Oh, your baby maybe have autism. No abortion. That's why we go to the doctor. They tell us, you want to do all these tests? And no. I'm not doing the test. Why? It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference to have these tests. Why does it make a difference? I'm not going to kill the baby anyway. I'm not going to come in. I'm not a murderer. I'm not going to kill the baby. Why should I have the test? For what? What's the purpose? And unfortunately, many times, people don't know that it's the tests themselves that cause the problems. There is a test where they go into the spine of the baby, check for autism or other types of serious diseases, and the test itself causes it, actually. They don't do it intentionally, but that's what happens. Hence the reason why you should have emunah in Hashem, and no, Kadosh Baruch Hu runs the world. If you are supposed to have something, you're going to have something, there's no running away from it. I know a very special woman. She has 6 kids. 3 of them are special needs. And guess what? Happiest person in the world. Happiest mother. What does she do? She's a woman that delivers babies. She's a doctor. She knew. We don't kill babies. We don't kill babies. Why? It's a life. You know who kills babies? Nazis. Nazis kill babies. I told you there's stories from the Holocaust of what they did to babies. It's one famous story that in the Rav Oshri, Ephraim Oshri writes in his Sefer. A woman comes to the Rav in a ghetto. In a ghetto. Asks him different questions. Shortly later, she runs to one of the Nazis. Give me a knife! Give me a knife! She runs to one of the Nazis. Jewish woman asks her, give me a knife right now! One of the Nazis thinks maybe this woman's going to kill herself. She's tired of the starvation. So he gives her the knife just to see what happens. You see the woman, she takes the knife, she uncovers her shirt, she takes out a baby. There's a baby in her hand that she was covering. She gives it a Brit Milah in front of them. Why? I know you're going to kill the baby, but this baby's going to die a Jew. This baby's going to die a Jew. These Reshaim Arurim took the baby and killed it in the most vicious possible way. But guess what? That baby's in Gan Eden. Why? His mom was a tzadikah, understood what emunah and bitachon is all about. Who kills babies? Nazis kill babies. Remember I told you guys a few things about Mengele. Mengele, Yimach Shemo v'zichro, also known as Malach HaMavet, the angel of death. He's the Rasha that did all types of experiments on Jews. Lots of people don't know the other half of the story. Mengele wasn't killed in World War II. Mengele fled the country and went to Argentina. And a company by the name of Live Nation brought this to my attention. They're a company that fights abortion. And, not Live Nation, Live something. Or Live. Anyway, this company brought an article, I believe it was from the New York Times. Records were found that Mengele, Yimach Shemo v'zichro, had a second career in Argentina for many years, for decades. What was it? Abortionist. He was an expert abortionist. It wasn't enough to kill countless people with strange experiments during the Holocaust. He wanted to continue his killing. So what did he do? He was an abortionist. For decades. This time, legally killing. So anyone that's already killed a baby and didn't know everything I just said, didn't know that it's a sin, or didn't know the magnitude of the sin, and didn't know that they're actually committed murder, you have to do serious tshuva. First of all, obviously, commit to never doing it again. Second of all, say I'm sorry to Hashem with tears. Third of all, you have to make sure that you do whatever you can to help other people not make this sin. Whether it's by sharing this lecture right now, or other lectures that we've discussed it, or sponsoring different events that talk about it, or where you can bring us to your community, or another Rav that speaks about this topic in detail, to help the community wake up and realize that abortion is not a choice for Am Yisrael. In fact, even the Goyim are not supposed to do it. That's also one of the lessons that we learn from Parashat Noach. It's another pirush for someone that spills the blood of a man within a man. Some commentators say it's not just the seed, it's also the baby. Within a man, meaning within the wife, within the woman, that's a baby, that's an abortion. Abortions are not allowed for Goyim or for Jews. So, the point is that when a person understands that this act has a goal, it's not only for prubu, because there's a time in a person's life where they can't have a baby. They can't have a baby, like for the reasons that I mentioned, and there's many other reasons. Sometimes the male can't have a baby. His seed doesn't work, whatever it is. Third reason is to be saved from the sin. When a person does it just purely to have a good time, just purely to release, that's the degree of an animal. That's an animal. You have to do it for one of these mitzvot. You have to do it for one of these mitzvot. Even if that mitzvah is to please Hashem, protect me from sin, it's still a mitzvah. And you have to have this in mind. Why? We're not animals. We're not animals. Now, the Gemara Masechet Kiddushin, page 30b, says there are three partners to each person: man, woman, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Man brings the white in his eye, the bones, ligaments, teeth, All of these different parts of the body are white. But also the brain. A woman, her egg brings the red, all the flesh, the meat. HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings 10 pieces, 10 parts. And the Midrash Rabbah, Kohelet, chapter 5, Ot Bet 2, 5:2, says that Kadosh Baruch Hu brings 10 parts. 1, the Ruach. 2, Neshama. These are 2 different parts of, we call it all Neshama, but in reality the Neshama has different pieces. So there's the Ruach, there's the Neshama, there's the face. You ever notice that no matter how similar people are, everybody has a different face? Which is unbelievable if you actually think about it. It's unbelievable how many faces there are in the world. You think about it, like, if you were an artist, there's a few artists in this room, and told you, okay, draw me some faces. How many faces can you draw? How many faces can you draw? 5, 10, 20. After 20, 30, that's it, everything starts looking the same. It all starts blending in. Why? What are they? They all have the same features. Eyes, nose, mouth, ears, that's it. What do you have? But HaKadosh Baruch Hu in His ultimate, in infinite wisdom, same exact features, literally infinite amount of looks. You're never going to see 2 that are exactly identical. There is a book that I saw one time where it showed that there is a, when a person reincarnates, he looks the same. Relatively the same as he did in the previous. Unless he reincarnates as a plant or a dog, but even then you'll actually see that there are certain animals that have human features. You'll see that the certain dogs, they literally have a very, very human face. You see their eyes are human eyes, they're not regular dog eyes. I've seen at least one of those dogs. You see that certain animals, they have very strange features. I actually saw one time a sheep that has, mamash, a human head. It wasn't a human, but it has, mamash, all the features of a human head. It's unbelievable. Real. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. But generally speaking, sheep look like sheep, humans look like humans. But, just like if you go to China and you tell them, listen, you all look the same, they're going to come to America and say, you all look the same. Because we all look the same to each other, but in reality, we're all different. We're all different. Everybody has a different face. HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes sure that everybody has a unique face, unique characteristics about their face. Something that a human mind can't even comprehend. Even if you're extremely talented, maybe you're going to get 20, 30 different looks. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't have this limitation. The next thing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives, vision. Because no matter whether you have eyes or not, eyes don't make you see. God makes you see. Next is hearing. Plenty of people have ears, but they don't listen. Speech. Lots of people have a mouth, but don't know how to talk. Especially when it matters and when it comes to rebuke. Touch. Touch is one of the greatest gifts that we don't appreciate enough because we think that touch is a given. In reality, if you don't have sensitivities in your hands, it's a very, very dangerous situation. I told you guys there was a disease, a very rare disease, where a person does not have the sensors, and they could touch something that could literally be burning them, and they wouldn't feel it, which is very dangerous, because that sense is a very, very critical thing to have when it comes to danger. The ability to walk, the knowledge, wisdom, da'at, and gvura. These are all, he combines them into one, but these are all really different parts. Hashem is the one that gives you knowledge. No matter how much you study, Hashem is the only one that's going to decide what you're going to understand and how much of it you're going to retain. That's why Resh Lakish says at the end of Masechet Brachot that a person gets Torah only if he's willing to die for it. And that's why you're going to see sometimes People learn Torah 20 years, still know nothing. Other people learn for much less time, 5-6 years, but Hashem gives them siyat dishmaya, they can already write a book, or 2 or 5. Why? This guy was just going through the system for 20 years. He went to school because he has to. He read the book because it was part of his homework. He wanted to graduate. He went to shul because he's already part of the community. He doesn't really want to be there. The other guy lost a bunch of sleep just to learn Torah. Why? Because he loves the Torah. So to him, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives him knowledge. Same thing with wisdom. Wisdom doesn't only come from experience. Wisdom is something that a person gets from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that, how to decipher right and wrong, this has a lot to do with Yirat Shamayim. All of the fears that you have are innate to you except Yirat Shamayim. Fears come naturally to a human being. Naturally we're scared of certain animals, heights, things that put our life in danger, loneliness, poverty, things of that nature. Some people have a little bit more strength to overcome some of these fears, but it doesn't mean that those fears don't exist. They exist, but they can overcome them. But when it comes to the gvura, the strength to overcome these fears, that's also one of the things that Hashem gives you. Strength to overcome these fears. What fear is not innate to a human being? Yirat Shamayim. Fear of Hashem. Really, the only fear you should have is fear of Hashem, but that's the one that doesn't come naturally. You should never be afraid of a bug or a dog or poverty or loneliness. You should never be afraid of any of these things. Why? Hashem runs the world. But you are afraid, and we are afraid of all of these different things. But of Hashem, we're not afraid. Which is really the only thing we're supposed to be afraid of. Why are we not naturally afraid of Hashem? Rav Blazer, the Talmid of Rabbi Yisrael Misalan, says that if we were naturally afraid of Hashem, it would remove our free choice. We would all become tzaddikim. So in order to be afraid of Hashem, you have to acquire it. Meaning, you have to meditate over it. Think about why you need to be afraid of Hashem. Think about how much you need Hashem. Think about His glory and His majesty and His power and His wisdom. And think about your own nothingness and how you can't even go to the bathroom without Him helping you. You can't even chew food without Him helping you. You cannot even guarantee that it will be digested and you won't choke to death without Him helping you. You're not even sure if it's not poison without Him helping you. Everything you have in the world, you need Hashem's help. That's why the Chazon Ish, literally, every step you would take, you would say, Hashem, please help me. I'm going on one step. And you go on one step. On the stairs. Hashem, we made it, Baruch Hashem, first step. Please help me, make the second step. Second step. Now we're not in the level of Chazon Ish. I mean, the Chafetz Chaim. We're not in the level of Chafetz Chaim. But we can at least appreciate to constantly realize how much we need Hashem. That alone should make us scared of Hashem. So, that fear of Hashem is a great thing. Now, when a person has fear of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, understanding of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the rest of the shiur becomes very simple for them to understand. Very simple. If they don't have fear of Hashem, they may even reject the rest of the shiur. In fact, they may see it as something that shouldn't be done. You see, if a doctor yells at the patient, tells him, no, come on, you have to stop eating such and such, and you have to keep a diet. The patient rolls up into a little ball, yes doc, you're right doc, you're right doc, you're right. Why? He's a doctor, he's a professional. If a lawyer tells his client, listen, if you're not going to say what I say, I'm not going to be your lawyer. You're right. I'm going to say what you say. I'm going to listen to you from now on. I'm going to give you all the files. I'm going to do whatever you say. Lawyer yells at you. Doctor yells at you. Teacher yells at you. In school, in high school, in public school, in university, whatever, all these different things. They yell at you, you do it. Police officer yells at you, you do it. Nurse yells at you, you do it. The janitor yells at you, you do it. No, come on, senor, what's going on? You're leaving such a mess. That's what my janitor, and it was a Spanish guy, used to yell at me. Oh, come on, senor, no, come on, you got to tell your guys to clean up after them. I said, okay, I'm sorry. From now on, they clean. Why? Because the guys thought that they were in some type of garbage pail in the office. They leave stuff everywhere. So, no, guys, you have a garbage pail. I bought you each a garbage pail. So, my dear friend is not going to yell at me. Anytime he called me senor, I know he's in trouble. But reality is, Rabotai, you listen to the janitor, you listen to the doctor, you listen to everything. What about Hashem? Hashem yelled at you? Not so much. Hashem yelled at us. Hashem yelled at us, Rabotai. Parashat Ekev. He yells at us and he tells us in chapter 8, verse number 11, ישמר לך פן תשכח את אדוני אלוהיך לבלתי שמור מצוותיו ומשפטיו וחוקותיו אשר אנוכי מצווך היום. Take care lest you forget Hashem your God by not observing His commandments, His ordinances, His decrees, which I command you today. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, take care not to forget Hashem your God. God, you're talking to us. How am I going to forget you? How am I going to forget you? Hashem says, I gave you a gift. I gave you a gift called memory. But also another gift called forgetfulness. One of the greatest gifts that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us is forgetfulness. Why? Imagine you remembered at all times all of the pain you've ever felt. When you were like 5 years old, you fell, you broke your finger. You remember that pain like it was yesterday. When something bad happened in a person's life, Hashem Yishmo, he remembers it. A young woman tells me today, Hashem Yishmo, since that shir came out about Manas the Menace, making fun of molested people, more people are coming out telling me, listen, this happened to me also, this happened to me also. Lots of poor people tell me that all these things happened to them. Hashem Yishmo. She tells me, I'd like to try to forget it, but it's not possible. It's been 20 years. Can't forget it. Can't forget it. Surely they wish to forget it, but they can't forget it. Why? It's trauma. But one of the greatest things that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us is forgetfulness. Well, even though the person remembers it, it's not the same memory as when it really mamash happened. If a person remembered all of the pain they ever had at all times, they simply would not be able to survive like a normal person. They would lose their mind. It's not a gift to remember everything. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to us in Parashat Ekev, I gave you a gift to forget, so you don't have to experience the pain you have permanently, the loss you have permanently, the agony you have permanently. I don't want you to remember it forever. I want you to have a good life. So I give you a gift to forget all the tough things and move on and be optimistic that the future is better than the past. It's a good blessing to tell somebody, may the best of your past be the worst of your future. Why? Because your past may be good, may be bad, but whatever is the best parts of your past, let it be the worst of your future, meaning that your future is going to be that much better. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to us, I give you a gift. Forget all the agony, all the pain, all the horrible things. Don't use that gift against me and forget me. How can you show that you forgot me? By not following my Torah. When you don't follow my Torah, you don't follow my commandments, he says. When you don't observe his commandments and his ordinances and his decrees, meaning the entire Torah, not just the parts you like, the Rin Torah and the oral Torah, the modesty rules and the Pgam Brit rules, the Shabbat rules and the Kashrut rules, the anti-idol worshiper rules, and also anti-connection with them at all costs. All of the rules. The ones that make sense to you and don't make sense to you. The ones that are politically correct and incorrect. When you don't follow them, in essence, you are making a sin of forgetting Hashem. You're forgetting Hashem. I gave you a gift and using it against me. This is also, by the way, why Pgam Brit is considered the most horrific of sins. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us a gift to overcome our own natural inclination, desire each other in order to reproduce. He gave us mamash a miracle in creation. When you have kids, it's not just a miracle that the kid was born. It's a miracle you got married in the first place. And instead of using that gift to reproduce, to bring kedusha to the world, the person is wasting seed and is doing all types of things that are forbidden. Hashem says this is the worst possible thing you can do because it shows kfuyot tova. It shows ungratefulness at the highest level. I gave you a gift, you used it to shoot me. You used it to hurt me. Imagine you gave somebody a loan, he went, bought a gun to shoot you. This is even worse. Hashem gave us money, we went it to go spit him in the face. So when a person thinks about it this way, he doesn't want to sin anymore. Why? It's not that he doesn't have the desire anymore. He has a desire. That's in him, that's in her. But he doesn't want to spit in Hashem's face. He doesn't want to be ungrateful. He doesn't want to be a bad person. Even if nobody sees except Hashem. Because that makes it even worse. Now Kadosh Baruch Hu says, I gave you a gift of forgetting. Don't forget me though. Don't forget me, because when you forget me, it's a very, very horrible thing. If you're not going to forget me, I'm going to forget you when it counts. Now unfortunately, Rabotai Kareem, sometimes, whether we mean to or we don't mean to, we forget Hashem. We forget Hashem through our day-to-day. A person says, Baruch Hashem, I got a good job now we're ready to have kids. Is that a mitzvah or no? You know what that is? Kfirah. That's a heretic. Someone says, Baruch Hashem, I have money now so I can have kids. That's a heretic. Why? Wait, so you're saying that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the whole world, created all these beautiful creations, the trees, the fruits, the system that revives itself, cleans itself, your own body, your eyes, your ears, your everything, gave you a mitzvah to reproduce, but it's going to starve you to death. So you had to wait until Hashem gave you a job and money so then you can reproduce. You had such little emunah in Hashem to that extent. Kfirah. When a person does not have kids because of his limitation or her limitation of money, that, Rabotai Ayakarim, is forgetting Hashem. It's forgetting Hashem. Why? If Hashem gave you a mitzvah, He's going to give you a way to do it. Yeah, but I have the money. Do you need the money right now? No, but I'm going to need it when the baby's born in 9 months. That's a lot of time for Hashem. Hashem built the entire world in 6 days. 9 months is, how many worlds He can build? Not that He really needed 6 days to build the world. In reality, He built it in an instant. So are you saying that Hashem can build the entire world in 6 days, can make you, wait for you 5,700 years, but He can't give you money? It's like somebody that went to Rabbi Lopian. Rabbi Lopian had a Talmid in his yeshiva. He says, Kvod Harav, thank you very much for teaching me 18, 19, 20 years. I got to leave. What happened? I got to get a job. What do you need to get a job for? You're learning. That's a job. He says, yeah, but Kvod Harav, I got to get married. Got to find a girl. He says, who says you're going to find a girl? Oh, Kvod Harav, why? Because I'm leaving you cursing me? He goes, no, Chas v'shalom, I'm not cursing you. I'm just asking you. What makes you think that you're going to find a girl to marry you? So, B'ezrat Hashem. Oh, okay, B'ezrat. So what do you need the money for? Oh, if I find a girl, I have to get a, pay for the wedding, I have to get a job. Who says that you're going to find a job? No, come on, Kvod Harav, what are you cursing me for? I'm not cursing, I'm just asking you, what makes you think that you're going to find a job? You have any skill? What makes you think? B'ezrat Hashem, somebody's going to hire me to do something. I don't know, I'll do some stock, I'll fix some shoes, I don't know, I'll do something. Oh, okay, B'ezrat Hashem. So what do you need so much money for? I mean, what is you making from the kollel? 1,500 shekels a month, it's good for you and your wife. What, you eat that much? Because no, Kvod Harav, I need to have kids. Kids cost money. But Lopian looks at him and goes, who says you're going to have kids? No, Kvod Harav, chalas already, enough, Kvod Harav. No, man, I'm not cursing you, I'm just asking you, who guaranteed you're going to have kids? Like, who says that your seed's going to work and our egg's going to work and they're going to have a connect? Who said? He says, Be'ezrat Hashem. Oh. So what do you need so much of them? He goes, because there's also yeshiva now, so much money. He says, who says the yeshiva is going to accept your kids b'chlal? He says, Be'ezrat Hashem. So Rabbeinu Lopian says, let me, hold on a second. So, to find a woman that's going to actually be willing to marry you, Be'ezrat Hashem. To have kids with this woman, Be'ezrat Hashem. To find a job, Be'ezrat Hashem. To find the schools, Be'ezrat Hashem. So everything is in Hashem's hands. But the money to pay for it, Hashem can't do. To give you the woman, to give you the house, to give you this, everything else Hashem can do. But to give you a few dollars to pay for all of it, He can't do. That's our problem. What's our problem? We forget Hashem. We forget Hashem. Rabotai Kareem, we make very, very big mistakes. We sometimes forget Hashem in small things, unintentional. We just heard in the shiur, from now on, we're not going to make it again. But then there are some people that have a pattern of forgetting Hashem in a much larger magnitude. What does that mean? Their whole life is one big forgetfulness of Hashem. A few years ago, we had a situation when we lived in Boca Raton where the head rabbi of the shul, Ephraim Goldberg, Shem Hashem Yerkav, decided it's a good idea to entertain and educate 1,000 families that live in Boca Raton, one of the biggest keilot in America, by bringing them a teacher that's one of the top Catholic missionaries in the world, a guy by the name of Matthew Kelly. Over the next couple of months, after we saw that Ephraim rejected the information that we provided him, that he's putting the Keilah in danger, we had to go publicly with it.
Sometimes people ask me, Matthew, why do you do what you do? There's lots of reasons. But at the core of that, I want people to experience the joy that I've experienced by discovering the genius of Catholicism. I want people to experience the joy that comes from trying to live the life and the teachings of Jesus Christ. That's missionary zeal. That's taking the message out into the world. That's taking God's joy out into the world. You see, God doesn't call us to live in some tiny little Catholic ghettos all walled off from the world. He wants us to go out into the world. He wants us to change the world. Our mission is to transform the world.
And Baruch Hashem, Hashem had mercy on us, and the event was cancelled. But not until we must spit blood to get this event cancelled. Eventually the Catholic guy cancelled the event, not Ephraim Goldberg. Ephraim Goldberg wrote a blog after the Catholic guy, Matthew Kelly, cancelled. Ephraim Goldberg said that he cried when Matthew cancelled. I wonder if he cried when the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed on Tisha B'Av. I wonder if he cried when Jews are being killed on a daily basis, and coronavirus. I wonder if he cried for that. I wonder if he cried when his Keilah have almost a 0% success rate of people doing tshuva. In fact, the entire graduating class of one Bachur that I know, that lived there, was born there, raised there, the entire graduating class, he says, he's the last remaining Shomer Shabbat. Entire graduating class. One kid's keeping Shabbat now. One kid left. Talk about hundreds of people. The rest of the Bachurim, that's the Bachurot over there, they already stopped keeping Shabbat already while they're going to school. People are already desecrating Hashem's name on a regular basis over there. I lived there, I saw it. It's gotten much worse even since I left. Drug overdoses have become a norm inside his community. People leaving Torah on a regular basis. Over 200 people drive to shul on Shabbat for each tefillah, and he has several minyanim. He has an entire parking lot designated for them. And he still dares to call himself an Orthodox rabbi. So it wasn't so far, since Chilul Shabbat is considered idol worship, it wasn't so far for him to recommend a different form of idol worship by bringing Christianity to teach the Jewish people over there. And Baruch Hashem, we went public with it, and eventually Matthew Kelly canceled. We got a few Rabbanim that signed the letter. We never published the letter, never saw really a purpose in it. The event was canceled. But, unfortunately, the Satan came back. The murder of Mr. George Floyd, in the most horrific way, has filled America with revulsion and reminded us again, and of course we should have needed no reminder, of the awful scourge of racism in our society. Pastor Jacques de Graaf is a pastor at the Canaan Baptist Church in Harlem. We invited him to address us again so that we could listen and learn and perhaps even hear words of rebuke from the pastor. Not from a rabbi. Chas v'shalom. Might people do tshuva. A rebuke from a pastor, sure. We could hear words of rebuke from the pastor about what we can do to be real allies, to help heal America, not Judaism. Help heal America. End racism, end brutality, and end division. Hashem is not mentioned once here. In this moving event, listen to Rabbi Robinson discuss racism from a Torah perspective. Instead of from, they misspelled. They don't know what they didn't understand what HaKadosh Baruch Hu made. They formed the Torah. They didn't from the Torah. Why? Because they're dvarim, lo b'shamayim, what they're saying. It's forming a Torah. It's a new Torah. They don't realize that this misspelling was from Shamayim. They formed the Torah perspective. It's a new one. It's not from the Torah. Lo b'shamayim, this Torah, what they're teaching. They formed it. Followed by Pastor de Graaf. Where is this being held? Lincoln Square Synagogue in Manhattan, New York. A very, very well-known synagogue. Very, very chashubi. Lots and lots of money, millions of dollars. Led by Scottish-born Rabbi Shaul Robinson, who attained a smicha from the Joseph Strauss Rabbinical Seminary, which is part of Or Torah Stone. What's Or Torah Stone? Who's it run by? Who's his rabbi? Rabbi Robinson attended Yeshivat HaMiftar and the Joseph Strauss Rabbinic Seminary in Efrat for 7 years, and he studied under who? Rabbi Chaim Brovender and Rabbi Shlomo Riskin. Who is Rabbi Shlomo Riskin? That's his rabbi. We have to know who's we have to know who's Rabbi Shlomo Riskin. Let's see who Rabbi Shlomo Riskin is. Rabbi YouTube, help us know who Rabbi Shlomo Riskin is. Ah, Rabbi YouTube's here. You guys are ready? Rabbi Shlomo Riskin gave us, about 10 years ago, a chidush. What's chidush? Rabbi Shlomo Riskin. He lives in Efrat now. He started this keilah, this Beit Knesset, this Avodah Zarah over there. He started it and was there for 20 years. And then he made aliyah to cause trouble in Israel. And years ago, 10 years ago, he came out with a video. And he wanted to discuss Jesus and Messianism. He calls himself an Orthodox rabbi.
Not cyclical.
So he says this.
The grass may not be completely
He's trying to talk about all the things that we have similar with Christianity.
Perfection of society, and there will come a time
And he wants to tell us, eventually the Mashiach is going to come, he says.
in which there will be peace, redemption, goodwill for all humanity.
So he says that eventually Mashiach is going to come. We have that in common, that they believe in a Mashiach. We believe in a Mashiach. You know, the Christians. He doesn't mention the idol worshippers. He mentions that we have similarities. And he says he studied it extensively. And he goes back to it. He goes back to the New Testament on a regular basis to study it. And at some point he says this.
This is the dream. And this idea and common is one of the most important links that we Jews and Christians share in common. There's one interesting difference. You know, I often think, if someone were to announce that the Messiah is here, who would actually want him? The Jews?
It says, doesn't think the Jews want the Mashiach.
The Jews will have to move to Israel. I doubt that the Jews...
Doesn't think the Jews want Mashiach. Thinks the Christians want Mashiach.
...to move to Israel.
Then he's going to tell you something really interesting.
So I don't think many people would be interested in his coming. Except religious Christians and religious Jews.
Religious Christians want the Mashiach to come down.
And ask him one critical
Oh,
question.
hold on. He's going to ask the Mashiach one critical question when he sees him. When he, like, as if he's going to have the merit to see the Mashiach. He's going to ask him a question. Rabotai, this is called himself an Orthodox rabbi. I'm making a big deal out of this because it is a big deal. This is the rabbi of the rabbi that had a pastor speak at a shul. You have to know, how come his Talmid felt perfectly comfortable to bring a pastor to give a shiur to a bunch of Jews? Because his rabbi teaches this.
Is this the first time you're coming, or the second time you're coming?
Rabbi Riskin says when he sees the Mashiach, in his delusion, he's going to ask the Mashiach, is this the first time you're coming, or the second time? Meaning, are you Yoshke? Orthodox rabbi.
You know, I often think, if someone were to announce that the Messiah is here, who would actually want him? The Jews? Messiah means the Jews will have to move to Israel. I doubt that the Jews throughout the world are ready right now to move to Israel. So I don't think many people would be interested in his coming. Except religious Christians and religious Jews. And we will all run out to greet him and ask him one critical question. Is this the first time you're coming, or the second time you're coming?
Now, Rabotai, if you think that we're harping on just one bad thing that this Rasha Merusha did, don't worry, he did plenty of other things. Rabbi Shlomo Amar, one of the Gdolei Israel, went against him with many other rabbis because he had a new movement that he wanted to start where he wanted interfaith. He wanted the Christians and the Jews to pray together, say Hallel together. He also, when it came to homosexuality, Shlomo Riskin, Shem Reshaim Merkab, says someone's homosexual, anus, meaning he can't control his desires. Let him do what he wants. Meaning, in so many words, if you have a serious desire for anything, to sin, Kadosh Baruch Hu says you have no share of the world to come. Riskin says, no. Hashem didn't mean that. Anus. You can't control it. It's not your fault. You just cancel the entire Torah. And many other things that are 100% heresy. Now, what about Jacques? What about Jacques, the pastor? Maybe he doesn't mean to missionize. Maybe he's a good Christian that doesn't mean to missionize. So let's look at his website. What does his website say? His website, which is the Canaan Baptist Church. He says, we're in the process of developing a new sevenfold vision intended to challenge us to effective Christian service in a changing world. Our vision is to become a national leader among Christian institutions. We are striving to become a, I can't even say this word, it's Yoshke, centered and people-oriented congregation with a global purpose to spread the gospel of Yoshke. This vision will be realized through, how are they going to fulfill this mission of theirs? Worship, Christian education, fellowship, and prayer. Okay, it's pretty much normal. You're a Christian. You pray this way, no problem. We could invite such a person to, I don't know, to maybe a barbecue or something. No problem. A shul, not so much, but that's a barbecue. What else? What else you do in this Christian church? What else you do? Evangelism. Oh, hey, hold on a second. No. You're not going to evangelize by us, right? You're going to evangelize somewhere else. No, but if you didn't get the point, missionary. Missionary, that's also part of our mission. That's part, evangelizing and missionizing in essence is supposed to be the same thing. No, that's part 2 and that's part 3. Why? Because there's different places to do it and different ways to do it. At Canaan we strive to rightly divide the Word of God and honor the biblical mandates for service. So they have a whole division for missionary services. The missionary ministry, part of the church, are to be the presence of Yoshke in the world. Their mission is to evangelize, spreading the gospel throughout the world. And if you don't know what that means, you just click and it tells you. How do we missionize? Missionaries are the presence of the Yoshke, and we evangelize, and the same thing over and over again. But how do they do it? We accomplish this through intercessory prayer, visitations, i.e. stupid communities that allow them to come in, scripture reading, food distribution. Nothing's for free, Rabotai. You're getting free food from the Christians, you're also getting a little bit of Christianity. Educational workshops. Ooh, you mean going to a synagogue and telling them about racism or whatever else? Black life matters, white life matters, all that life matters. But really, in reality, it's an educational workshop. Donation of clothing and money. Everything that they do good is for what? Missionaries. Nothing comes for free. Nothing. You would think, wow, we thought Goldberg is the only idiot that can bring a Catholic missionary, but now we see there's 2 of them. Could there be a connection? Aha! Ha ha! Let's see. Rabbi Wikipedia, please tell us, is there a connection between one moron and another that's putting Jewish people in danger? Ding, 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 ding. Yes, that was me. I was saying the ding. What is it? Oh, look at that. Rabbi Goldberg, Ephraim, he runs the Boca Raton Shul. But before him, he had a rabbi there that started it. Rabbi name of Kenneth Brander. Kenneth Brander is now left Boca Raton. Gave the $1 million+ job to Ephraim. Why would anybody do such a thing? Why would you give such a big job to Ephraim? You're Talmid, okay, great, but you like him that much, you're going to give him that kind of money? Nobody just gives that kind of money. Give him the head job of the ORB, give him the head job of BRS, give him the head job of missionizing Jews, give him the head job for that. Come on, no, Brandis, what's going on with you? What kind of Jewish businessman are you? No, I got a better job. What's a better job? He is founder and chancellor of All Torah Stone, in partnership with his rabbi, who? Shlomo Riskin. Same Shlomo Riskin that told us he's going to ask the Mashiach if it's the first time or the second time he came. Which means Shlomo Riskin is the rabbi of both sides. He's the rabbi of Ephraim Goldberg's rabbi, Brandis, and he's the rabbi of Robinson, Mr. Robinson from New York City. Hello, Mr. Robinson. Why are you missionizing Jews? Why? Why are you missionizing Jews? Now you think, oh, it's not nice to make fun of rabbis. Rabotai, it's a mitzvah to make fun of clowns like this. Why? Person needs to understand. You look at Halacha, Rambam, Ilchot Melachim. The Rambam writes clearly something that many people do not read. They think that Rambam was for Christianity, chas v'shalom. But the Rambam writes clearly, Jesus of Nazareth, who aspired to be the Mashiach and was executed by the court, was also alluded to by the prophet Daniel in the verse, chapter 11, verse 14. The vulgar among your people shall exalt themselves in an attempt to fulfill the vision, but they shall stumble. And the Rambam writes, V'chiyesh michshol gadol mizeh. Can there be a greater stumbling block than Christianity? Can there be a greater stumbling block for Jewish people than Christianity? You're going to bring people to face Christianity in a synagogue, a place where they think that anybody that's speaking must be a kosher person, and you're going to bring them the greatest stumbling block that exists in the world? Now, what does HaKadosh Baruch Hu think of Christianity? Let's see. The Rambam writes in Ilchot Shuvah, chapter 3, Halacha number 7. 5 individuals are described as minim. Minim are people that have no share of the world to come. Minim are people that HaKadosh Baruch Hu despises. Who are these people? One who says that there is no God, nor a ruler of the world. This is an atheist. 2, one who accepts the concept of a ruler but maintains that there are 2 or more. Christianity. 3, one who accepts that there is one master of the world but maintains that he has a body or a form. Christianity is already 2 out of the 5 individuals. These are minim. A min, Rabotai Karim, is someone that the Rambam Posek La'alacha is so dangerous. Not only are you not allowed to bring him to your shul as a guest of honor, but in fact, you're not allowed to stand next to him within 4 amot, meaning 6 feet. You have to treat the min as if he has coronavirus all year round. That's halacha. There could be someone that's a min, maybe yes, maybe no, maybe this, maybe that, but it doesn't get clearer than a pastor, than someone that has a missionizing organization. There's no doubt he's a missionary. There's no doubt he's a min, according to our holy Torah. But they're bringing him to the shul. Surely all the Jews are going to shake his hand, welcome him, maybe even hug him, maybe say thank you for coming, let me buy you a book, would you invite me to your place once, maybe since you came to ours, it's only fair that we come to yours. You're going to start seeing people that go from the synagogue to the church. Why? That's the instructions of the rabbi. The rabbi went to, he's friends with Jacques. He's friends. Jacques and him are like this now. Came to speak at our place, we're speaking at his. Why should a Jew think otherwise? The rabbi invited him. The rabbi invited him. Why should a Jew that doesn't know halacha, why should he think there's anything wrong with this picture? Rabotai, the Yad Ramah commentary on Masechet Sanhedrin, page 100b, says you're not allowed to learn anything from a Christian, even if it does not contradict the Torah. Even if it doesn't contradict the Torah, he tells you, no, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to read out loud Parashat Shavua for you. I'm going to read out loud. I'm not going to add Christianity, Yoshk, no. I'm just going to read out loud. I'm going to teach you about racism. I'm going to tell you why black life matters, and why white also matters, and why this whole thing is really racist just by the name of it. I'm going to teach you. Not allowed to learn from him. Why? Maybe you're going to like it, the Yad Ramah says, and want to delve into his other work. Meaning, even if he writes a children's story book, you're not allowed to buy it. Gemara Masechet Avodah Zarah, page 17a, says you're not allowed to be within 4 amot of a mean. Then you tell, yeah, but these Christians, they know some Torah. Gemara says, and also in Midrash Rabbah, Sefer Echa, Perek Bet, Chokhmah b'goyim ta'amin, Torah b'goyim al ta'amin. If the goyim tell you they have wisdom about sciences, history, archaeology, all types of things, believe them. They have. There's very, very smart goyim in the world. They tell you that they have Torah wisdom, not allowed. No such thing. No, but he learns all day, every night. Doesn't make a difference. Doesn't make a difference. His new insight, garbage. Why? He's a mean. He's a pastor. Might be a very nice guy, make a mean barbecue. Sorry. No, can't do. It's not my rules. It's Kadosh Baruch Hu's rules. Not allowed to learn Torah from you. By bringing such a speaker to a shul, it gives the person a kosher sign that everything else he does is kosher. When Riskin says that he's going to ask the Mashiach if it's the first or second time, and that he learns the New Testament from time to time, and that he toils in it, what did I tell his students? Brandis, Ephraim Goldberg, Mr. Robinson, what did he tell them? Mitzvah! Mitzvah! To go learn New Testament. Mitzvah to bring the church to the shul. That's what it means. The average Jew does not know how to decipher what is right and wrong because they have an Erev Rav instead of a Rav. What happens if a Christian writes a Sefer Torah? Rambam, Ilchot Deot, Perek Chet, says mitzvah to burn it. If a Sefer Torah that's behind me, Chas v'Shalom, falls, everybody in the room has to fast. If a Sefer Torah has 304,805 letters, is missing one letter, pasul. Pasul. But even then, you're not allowed to burn it or anything like that. Not allowed to desecrate it. Fix it. A Christian writes a Sefer Torah, mitzvah to burn it. Why? They have a religion that makes fun of ours. Makes fun of our God. Tells us our God is 3. There are some very nice Christians that I know. As people, they're nice. But unfortunately, if they don't change, they're going to go to Gehenom without an end. And that's why the first thing that I do when I meet them, I tell them, dear New Testament believer, believing in the New Testament and Yoshke is 100% idol worship. And here are 5 or 6 different places that you can learn why it is the case. Now you may take what I say personally, but in reality I'm only doing it because I'm trying to save you. It's nothing personal. If I didn't care about you, I'd tell you, oh yeah, come to my shul. Let's have lunch. Just give us your money, because you Christians have a lot of money. Give us your money, we'll give you Gehenom. If you like Christians, tell them to leave Christianity. You like people, tell them to leave idolatry. You like Am Yisrael, warn them from this Erev Rav. The people that attended this shiur, this lecture, this Chilul Hashem, tell them what they just did. They just benefited from idolatry. They just benefited from Chilul Hashem. Even though it wasn't on purpose and they didn't know, they're still guilty. Why? Pirkei Avot says, Mishnah in Pirkei Avot says, Shgagat Talmud Ola Zadun. You make a mistake. You make a sin as a result of a mistake. Mistake. Why? You didn't know. But it's because you didn't study enough, it's considered as if you made it on purpose. And when it comes to idolatry, Rabotai Yikarim, idolatry is the only thing that you're guilty of, even if you just think about it. Everything else, you have to actually do it. Idolatry, even if you just think idolatry, guilty. That's how much Hashem hates idolatry. Why burn a Sefer Torah that was written by a Christian? Ayotze mi tameh tameh. There's a rule. Whatever is tameh only will produce tameh. Whatever is impure can only produce impure. So how come Rabbi Meir Baal Nes came from converts? Rabbi Akiva came from converts. David HaMelech came from converts. Yeah, converts. It wasn't the same thing anymore. Once a person converts to Judaism, he's no longer the same person. Halacha is brand new baby. He's 0 years old. She's 0 years old on the day they converted. Everything they have from their past life is not connected to them at all. But if they're still idol worshippers, Rabotai, you have to treat them as idol worshippers. I'm not saying to go start hitting people and burning churches, but to invite them into our synagogues, you are putting Am Yisrael in danger. You could be nice, you could be cordial in order to have some type of peace. But to invite them to speak in our synagogues, in our Jewish communities, is literally bringing the sheep to the bear, then bringing his brother to the wolf, then bringing his sister to the lion. Then, you know what? Why don't you just bring all the lions, bring them to the sheep, and just say, you know what? I'll kill them for you. You don't have to chase them. Now, the reality is, Rabotai, why are we allowed to speak about such things in such a aggressive way? Gemara, Masechet Sanhedrin, page 82a. B'makom sheyesh chilul Hashem, en kavod larav. In a place that there is chilul Hashem, desecration of Hashem's name, we do not worry about giving any respect to any rabbi. We learned this from Parashat Pinchas and Parashat Balak. When Pinchas went and killed Zimri and Cosby, he said an halacha in front of Moshe Rabbeinu, which is forbidden to say an halacha, to make a psak halacha in front of your rabbi. It's forbidden. But Pinchas did it. Why? Because there was chilul Hashem happening. Cosby and Zimri were publicly desecrating Hashem's name. Pinchas didn't consider the kavod that was due to Moshe Rabbeinu. Why? Does chilul Hashem take precedent over the kavod of even Moshe Rabbeinu? Needless to say, of Mr. Robinson and Ephraim Goldberg and anybody else that supports them, including their own keilah. Putting Jewish neshamot in danger, there's no higher sin that you can do. Why? If you sent them all to the Holocaust, you sent them all to the gas chambers, it would actually be better than if you sent them to some Christian pastor to teach them. Why? Because in the Holocaust, worst case scenario, they killed the people. Body. They still all go to Gan Eden. You see their website, this Lincoln Center, this Lincoln Synagogue. Nice website. You see some pictures, women with kisui rosh, a few of them. You see, some people love Hashem, some people have fulfilled mitzvot. But these same people don't know what the halacha is, didn't speak against their rabbi, probably listened to this pastor speak to them tonight. It was better he killed all of them than have them speak to them. Why? Because at least they would go up to Shamayim tzaddikim. By having them listen to this, Rabotai, and possibly start getting a doubt in their emunah in Hashem, in their emunah in Judaism, even 1% doubt, it's already enough damage that is almost unrepairable. Rabbi Eliezer ben Holkanos, the rabbi of Rabbi Akiva, one time heard something that was funny from a Christian, and he thought it made sense. HaKadosh Baruch Hu disliked it so much that he almost killed Rabbi Eliezer ben Holkanos. We're talking about, he didn't react, he didn't publicize it, he just heard it and he enjoyed it. And then Rabbi Eliezer was caught by the Goyim. They tortured him until Hashem had mercy on him, and they released him, miraculously. And Rabbi Eliezer ben Holkanos realized, it's because I enjoyed the few words from this Christian pastor. I enjoyed them. I didn't publicize them. I didn't write them in a book. I didn't use them as a source. I didn't go to his church. I didn't observe Christmas. No. I just enjoyed his words, his speech. That's enough. That's enough. You tainted your Torah. Avot Rabbi Natan, regarding Proverbs 5:8. It says, Do not hang out with the minim. Even if you are confident in yourself that you won't fail. Even if you know the entire New Testament, and you know how to debate, and you are a expert anti-missionary. Avote Rabbi Natan says, don't hang out with them. Why? We learn from Proverbs, all who come to her don't return, nor do they attain the path of life. Anyone that go to these Christian missionaries, either they don't return, or they end up losing other ways. And Chazal says over there, they end up losing all of the shefa that Hashem wanted to give them. You spend time with these minim, Hashem takes it away. So here we see, Rabotai, that to ignore Hashem's words to that extent and make it as if it's not a big deal in small things eventually grows up to be big things. When you call yourself a modern Orthodox, what are you really saying? You're saying that you've modernized the rules. So you'll notice that modern Orthodox synagogues tend to have more immodest people. Women many times don't even cover their hair at all, just like secular women. Women many times do not cover their body sufficiently. There's a shul next to my house, calls himself Modern Orthodox Young Israel. He walks around with his wife one time. My wife and I ran away. Why? His wife forgot to put on clothes, period. We thought he just found her in a shower. She wore less clothes than the congregants. Why? Because we're in a modern mentality. That means that you could just modernize the rules and you could just take out different laws and shorten the sleeves, shorten the skirt, shorten the kisui rosh to the no existence, and modernize. And people think, oh, it ends over there. Okay, so maybe they're less modest, but they do a lot of other good things, right? No, you don't understand. A Jew either go up with his Yiddishkeit, or he goes down. Either his Avodat Hashem gets better, or it gets worse. It doesn't stay neutral. You started with less Torah. Boys and girls school in the same time, they learn together, even though Allah says not allowed. Then you go to modesty, turns into immodesty. Before you know it, you're going to bring Christians to your shul. And then people are surprised that HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings a magifa. Does anybody read Arvit? You guys pray Arvit? Yeah, you pray Arvit? Okay, in Arvit, what do you ask Hashem? Ashkivenu avinu leshalom. Lay us down to sleep, our Father. Why? It's Arvit. Please give us good sleep. And you ask Hashem for a bunch of protections. Hashem, please, for the sake of your name, protect us and remove from us the blow of the enemy. Dever, cherev, choli, tzara, ra'a, v'yagon, u'mashchit, u'magefa. Remove from us pestilence, sword, illness, distress, evil, famine, sorrow, ruin, and plague. For the sake of your name. Please. Every day we say this. Not because of Corona. This is not a new prayer. This is a prayer that's been around forever. Shvor ve'aser ha-satan milfanenu me'achirenu. Break and remove the Satan from before us and from behind us. Why before us and after us and behind us? Because sometimes the Satan is in front of you. Your friend calls you, says, listen, Pastor Jacques is coming tonight. He's related to Goldberg, second cousins or something. You want to come? That's Satan in front of you. No, come on, it's only Pastor. He's just talking. You know, if he starts mentioning Yoshka, we leave. That's Satan in front of you. What's the Satan out behind you? Rabbi Yaron Reuven just exposed all of the rabbis that are bringing missionaries to shuls. Those rabbis should be fired. No second chance. They should be sent to a yeshiva for Baalei Tshuva until they do Tshuva. 10, 20 years maybe. Or they could watch every single shiur we ever did, and then maybe we'll consider them. Why? They just put an entire community in danger. A person that sells taref, if he's a shochet, if he's a butcher, if you catch him selling taref on purpose, his license is banned forever. He's never allowed to sell kosher meat again. Never. If he did it on purpose, accident, you put him on ban for a little while until he does tshuva. But he does it on purpose, forever. But that's just for meat. Maybe one guy's going to eat a pig instead of a cow that came from the Arabs instead of the Jews. What's the big deal? One guy. Needless to say, if a guy is a rabbi of a community, he brings the taref to teach us. So rabbi says, look, halacha says it's forbidden to even be next to this pastor within 4 amot, 6 feet, without corona. How did you bring him to our shul? Look, video, clip, everything. What's Satan? Ma'acharenu? No, but come on, I already invested so much in this community. My apartment is right next to the shul. I donated so money to this rabbi. How could I get rid of him? Give the guy a chance. That's Satan. That's Satan. To not be aggressive when you're obligated to be aggressive, that's Satan. Why? Because you already have a vested interest. You like the guy. Everything else looks okay otherwise. As if just sending a bunch of Jews to a Holocaust camp is not a big deal. Now let this one go. What do you mean? You just violated one of the biggest halachot in the Torah. There is no second chance. And if you give him a second chance, and your community in New York, or your community in wherever you are, and your rabbi, your Erev Rav brought a pastor, or wants to bring a pastor, to your shul, and you continue giving him a chance, guess what? You go up to Shamayim, and they give you a decree of Gehinom for a very long time, don't say you weren't warned. Don't say you weren't warned. Not even for me. You're warned in your tefillah every day. Milfanenu me'acharenu. You have an opportunity to replace this Erev Rav with a real Rav. There's plenty of them. Yerushalayim, Bnei Brak, plenty of them are looking for jobs. Nice keilot, they're looking to grow. I'm sure they have them in Monsey, in Lakewood, and other places. People that have real rabbis, not Riskin, the missionary. When you see that the rabbi that started this place himself studies the New Testament, but just not to teach it, to go count the missionary, but just for entertainment, already you see that the foundation is rotten. And a kehillah like this should not be surprised when their kids end up the same way as Moshe Mendelssohn's kids. Moshe Mendelssohn kept Shabbat, just like Riskin. But all of Moshe Mendelssohn's kids ended up either becoming atheists or Christians. Who was he? The beginner of the Haskalah, the Enlightenment movement, Reform and conservative. He was Orthodox himself, but he began the whole movement. Today's Haskalah is modern Orthodoxy. Unfortunately, we're a little late to the party because these people already have jobs and big positions, but never too late. Why? Hashem runs the world. This, Rabotai Yekarim, is critical. Why? Because the Chazon Ish tells us this amazing creation, this human being that is able to reproduce. If it has a good foundation, good fruits will come from it. If it does not have a good foundation, rotten fruits will come from it. If your kids come to you and they tell you, Ima, Abba, meet my non-Jewish future husband or wife, do not be upset at the kid. Be upset at yourself. You are the one who killed them. Why? You sent them to a modern Orthodox school, you sent them to a modern Orthodox shul, you sent them to some university that's a bunch of goyim and all types of non-Jewish teachings. You sent them to the wolves. Don't be surprised if he comes back a dead sheep. You are at fault. Oh, Rabbi, can you save my son? He's getting married to a Goya tomorrow. Where were you 20 years ago? How about this? Forget 20 years ago. Where were you 2 years ago when he started dating her? Oh, we didn't think it's going to survive. Oh, that's very modern of you. Who'd you learn from? Ephraim? Rabotai, intermarriage is over 80% in America. Men are marrying, Jewish men are marrying non-Jewish women, and non-Jewish women are marrying non-Jewish men, or Jewish women, and so on. Instead of marrying our own kind, we're marrying somebody else. And then people come to you, I can't find a shidduch. Yeah, of course you can't find a shidduch. All your potential shidduchim are marrying goyim. You know why? Because you're acting like a goy. So they figured, if I'm already going to go with a goy, I'll go find a better one that's an original. Why? You want to play basketball on Shabbat instead of learn Torah. You want to watch television. Be up to date with all of the top hit shows. You want to act like a goy, so your shidduch wants to marry a goy. Why? Might as well get an original. Why should I get the remake? Why should I get Fike? I'll get Nike. Can't find a shidduch. Rabotai, you think it's only their fault? It's our fault. Why? We're not producing enough kedusha. Yeah, every single day there's new Baalei Tshuva. Yeah, every day there's new videos. Yeah, every day there's a lot of stuff that's happening. Baruch Hashem. People think that we're a multi-billion-dollar organization. How much stuff we produce? Guess what? It's not enough. It's not enough. Why? This is still happening. If we were producing enough kedusha, the place in Lincoln, in Manhattan, wouldn't be doing this. We have to do tshuva ourselves. We have to do more shurim, more Torah, more kedusha, more people, more kiruv. Why? It's either kill or be killed. Either kill the tumah of the world or be killed by it. That's what the Chazon Ish is trying to tell us, Rabotai Karim. Sometimes a person needs to know that the war that he's fighting seems like it's unbeatable. But if you do things purely because you know Hashem wants it, you will win. The Maharil Diskin, alav shalom, when he became sick, doctor told him that he had to have a special diet. So on Shabbat, he didn't get his chulent plate. So the Maharil Diskin said, please, I want to eat the chamin. But the doctor said no. The doctor says you're dangerous for you. So the Rav says, if you do a mitzvah with 100% for shamayim, you have bitachon that Hashem is going to protect you, nothing can hurt you. They brought him the plate, he ate Baruch Hashem, everything good. Nothing happened. The next Shabbat came up, they brought the Rav his plate. But everybody finished, the Rav didn't eat a bite, nothing. So for the Rav, what happened? Last week, Baruch Hashem, you ate, everything good. What happened now? You didn't like it? No, I didn't taste it. Why not? Last week was better, what happened? So see, last week, I had 100% bitachon that a Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to protect me. This week, I have bitachon in Hashem. But the problem is that 1,000% of my bitachon is coming from the fact that He already protected me in the past. So it's not 100% bitachon. It's like part of it is already because I already have bitachon because something already happened. So therefore, it's not enough bitachon. I'm not doing it. I'm not taking the risk. But when you have 100% bitachon in HaKadosh Baruch Hu can do everything you want. I have 100% bitachon you can make Am Yisrael do tshuva. Team Hashem has 100% bitachon that we can make Am Yisrael do tshuva. Question is, how much are we putting on the line to show our bitachon? What are we doing to show Hashem we have a bitachon? Plenty of people like to say they have bitachon. Right now, Rabotai, we have to show we have bitachon. We have to build new communities. We have to change the things that are happening in the communities that we have that are literally doing things that are against Hashem. Or else Hashem will be forced to do it for us. He did it last time. It was called the Holocaust. He's warning us right now with coronavirus. Returning again. There's a second round of corona if nobody noticed. He's telling us we're not doing enough tshuva. Even though, Baruch Hashem, we're doing a lot of work. And we're barely sleeping. And I had to take special pills just to get here. It's not enough. Why? This is still happening. They're still bringing pastors to synagogues. So everybody has to think for themselves, what else can I do to produce more Kedusha in the world? How much more could I learn Torah? How much less complaining can I make against Hashem? How much more can I show my bitachon in Hashem? How much more kiruv can I do? How much time can I spend doing this kiruv? How much money can I donate so they could do kiruv that actually works? How much more can I share this Torah Kedusha to help other people do tshuva? Rabotai Karim, tshuva is needed in every community. Just this morning we got a story from Bnei Brak. A rabbi from there says to Rabbi Ephraim, please, we need you to come. Why? We have Talmidim inside the yeshiva that are having atheistic thoughts. Everywhere, Rabotai. Everywhere there's a Satan and we need to fight it. We need to fight it everywhere. How do we fight it? Produce more Kedusha. If everyone that watches these shiurim contributes in one form or another, that's not only showing Hashem that we love Him and that we have bitachon in Him, but it's showing Him that we have 100% bitachon in Him. Why? Because in reality, we can't win this war by itself. Meaning the only reason anybody would even fight this war is if they have 100% bitachon that Hashem's going to win the war. Why? We can't win it. There's 3 billion of them. There's 3 billion missionaries in the world. And out of the 20 million that we know about that we have of our side, only about what, 3, 4, 5 million identify themselves as religious? We can't win the war statistically. Money, no chance in the world. The amount of money they raise in one day, we don't get in 1,000 years. They spend $300 million a year just in Eretz Yisrael for missionizing. Needless to say, the billions they spend in America. Their number one goal is to target Jewish people and to find weak rabbis that will allow them to go in. A few dollars under the table, a few dollars above the table, all types of situations. Bottom line is, let us in. Let us use the excuse, Black Lives Matters, White Matter, all types of things matters. Everything matters. Missionizing matters too. Before you know it, they're going to tell you Yoshke matters. He was a Jew after all. Rabotai, they're looking to do what they've been doing for 2,000 years. Prey on the weak. Unfortunately, we live in a generation where the weak are sometimes the leaders. Don't be part of the weak by simply doing nothing. Do something. Do more tshuva. Get closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And show HaKadosh Baruch Hu that you believe in Him 100% by joining us. Joining Am Yisrael that cares about Hashem and fighting this war to bring the real Mashiach to Am Yisrael. But first, bring Am Yisrael back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so when the Mashiach does arrive, he has something to save. Baruch Adonai Leolam, Amen ve'amen.